So I guess you're able to see my screen.
Yes, sir. We can see.
So yesterday, I think we discussed about the reference objects, right? Okay. So I wanted all of you to try and set up all your Snowflake and DBT concepts. So everybody did that. So any of you guys need some help or any assistance here? So we'll be doing that today.
Not yet. Okay. We'll try to do that this weekend.
Okay. Any other doubts here? So today we'll not be covering much of the topics. So I kind of planned this session for any doubts or any clarifications required.
Are we going to cover 5 trend?
No.
Any basics around that?
I haven't really planned on that.
But because the thing is like whatever I got an info, like whatever I know is like basically DBT will not gonna connect to different sources. Okay. So DBT will gonna deal with internally with Snowflake, what are the things which we have. Okay. So like if you wanted to take the data from the external sources, okay. So like what are the possible options? Okay, I heard 5tran is the kind of major option.
The best. I mean, yeah, 5tran is a major option, and you have something called a stitch kind of thing is there. So that is another alternative to the 5tran.
So anything like it means like if you are not going to cover that 5tran, okay, any material around that
material kind of thing.
Material like any YouTube video link kind of thing, like do you suggest for that to learning?
I'll check on that.
Yeah.
I have to verify that first.
No, 5tran is all in all a separate ETL tool or is part of DBT?
Yeah, so no, it's not part of DBT. So 5tran is just used for extract and load purposes, and DBT will be used for the transformation purposes here. Okay.
Means 5tran cannot do any transformation, is it?
No, it's a kind of, it also can do some kind of transformations, but it's not just as simple as DBT.
Okay, got it.
So I'll try to verify some 5tran things, Harish.
Okay.
I'll let you know on that.
Yep.
Okay.
Total how many sessions we will gonna have, and like up to when we are gonna complete the entire curriculum?
So we have planned it for 3 weeks.
Okay. So this is the first week, right?
This is the first week.
Okay.
Most probably we'll try to finish within that. And if we are, I mean, like in the content, so which I have shared in the content. So there are no kind of, I mean, we haven't added the Jinja and all those things. Maybe at the end of the course. So if you are going to cover that, we will see that also. Because right in the beginning we haven't planned those things, but because we have got many requests on that, so we are trying to include that Jinja as well here.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think yesterday we have covered till naming conventions. So today we will see about how to organize your project in the DBT. So how organizing helps you, set up all your sources or your materializations, how it is going to help you. Okay. Just a minute, guys. Okay, fine. So till now, what we have created is, so we have created a kind of, two staging models and one our final table. I mean, one of our models, so it should be represented as the final table for our data, right? So here, if you see, so whenever we have run these models, all these models, so the staging models are created as a views, right? Why? Because so the default, by default, DBT will create every model. We will try to create every model as a view inside the Snowflake here. Let me show you. You see here, so every time we run our models, so our staging models will be created as a views here, and our final dim customers model will be created as a table here. So why? Because the staging models doesn't have any config block where it is defined as this model has to be created as a table, but the dim customer model has that particular config block where we are instructing that this particular model should be treated as a table here. Okay, so now let's see. So since we have configured, we have here, if you see, we have configured, we have given this config block inside the model here. So what happens now? Only this particular model will be created as a table. Okay. Now let's say we have multiple models, so which we treat as the final models, which will have the final data. Now we want all those models to be created as a tables, and all these kinds of intermediate staging tables. Like let's say we have some multiple staging tables, and all the staging tables should be created as a views here. Okay. So for every block, for everything, so we cannot give this config block. So for every model, we should add this one. If we want to create every final model as a table, so we in every model we have to add this particular config block here. Okay, but in DBT there is a facility, there is an opportunity, like to define or to configure our models outside the model as well. Okay, so not only inside the model, inside of the model, we can give this config block outside the model, where we can specify which views, which models, or which models can be created as a views, or which models can be created as a tables. Okay, so this kind of configuration, so you can give it at the project level. So this kind of configuration, you can give it at the project level. In the whole project, you can specify. So which kind of models should be treated as views, which kind of model should be treated as tables. If we come down in the file explorer in DBT, so you can see something called project.yaml here, right? If you open that, so you will find all the description about that project. So what kind of names we have used. So what kind of models are available there. So you will get to see everything here. So once you add all those things, so this will be treated as a configuration object, configuration file for the whole project. Okay. So whatever the YAML file you see here, right? So that will be treated as a configuration file for the whole project. So here you can specify, so which model should be created as a tables and which model should be created as views. Is it clear?
Can you come again about YAML file?
So this YAML file, what you see here, will be treated as a configuration file for this whole project. Okay. So DBT underscore project is our first DBT project, right? So that we are working on for this whole project. So this YAML file will be treated as a configuration file. So in this YAML file, you can specify which models can be treated as tables, which model should be created as views. That we can specify it here. Okay. So without every time using the config block inside the models, so we can give that config block once and all here, and from here, so DBT will consider and will take the instructions whether to treat this model as a view or a table.
Okay, like
Let's see. Yeah.
So it will be kind of like in which aspect this YAML file will be used? Only for materialized and like non-materialized views for the model, or like in other aspects as well it will be used?
So in other aspects also you can use. Okay. So we have more concepts to go.
Okay, got it.
So till now we have covered model set. So we will start with models. We will start with how to configure models in our YAML file.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine. Okay. So to be able to give the configuration inside the YAML file, so our DBT project should be in a structured way. So if you see here, so all our models, all our staging models and the dim customer models are available inside only one folder, that is models folder. Okay. So to be able to give instructions to create only views on particular models, so those models should be separated. Okay. So we have to segregate the models, which should be created as views and which should be created as tables. We should kind of segregate them. Okay. So now let's see how we can do that. So we just have to create, this is just a file, just like a file explorer. You just have to create different folders for different kinds of models. Okay. For staging models, you can create different kinds of folders, and for sources, you can kind of different kind of folders. And for final models, you can create different folders. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Before that, let me delete this example model. So we don't need that. So I've just deleted it. So under the models, so I'm going to create a folder here. So I'm going to name this folder as March. Okay. So inside this, marks folder. So I'm going to keep my final models. Okay. Create one more folders. So if you see here, so under the models folder, so I have created a folder called, which I'm calling it as a Jaffle shop, because so whatever the data till now we worked on is on the Jaffle shop schema. So just for our reference, I'm creating the model called Jaffle shop. I'm creating a folder called Jaffle shop. Inside that Jaffle shop data or folder, so I have two more folders, which I call it as marks and staging. This staging folder will have all the staging models, and this marks folder will have all the final models. Okay. So inside the models, I have created one more folder, which we call it as core. Okay. So for all our final models will be inside the core. Okay. So if you have some more models which are not kind of if you say if we are creating some kind of fact or something, so we will be creating outside that if we outside the core folder. If we are creating kind of dim dimensions kind of models, so we can keep inside them. So that's completely my discretion. So we can create any kind of folder structure you want accordingly, or how your project requirement is. So this is completely my discretion. Okay. Is this clear?
Yes.
So now what will I do is, so I'll just move my staging models inside this staging folder. I just have to do the drag and drop. And this dim customers model, I have been moving into the core folder. So if you see, now our models are a bit organized here. Okay. So all our staging models are at one place, and all our final models are at one place. Okay. So now, so you can use this folder structure to control our materializations. Okay. So we now have segregated all our models into different categories. Okay. Now we can use this folder structure to leverage our materializations. Okay. So if you want to add more folders, you can do that. If you want to delete some unwanted or not used stale ones, so you can delete those folders. So it is completely, this folder structure will be under your control completely. Okay. Now what we can do is, so inside this DBT project model, so we are going to use this folder structure. We are going to use this folder structure based on this folder structure. So we are going to differentiate the materializations. Okay. Let's see how we can do that. Okay. So first it will be starting with the name of the project. If you want to keep the name as it is, you can do that. Okay. This way the name of the project is taken as my new project. Okay. So if you want to differentiate this changes, you can do that. I'm just giving this Jackal shop. And if you come down to the bottom, so here, so we will be having an option of, I mean, we will be having space where we can define our materializations here. Okay. So under this models, okay. So we have to change your project name here also. Here, if you see, it is for the example models. Earlier, we had some a folder called example for that. So this is the materialization by default has come through. Now we will, by using our folder structure, we will differentiate the materializations. Okay. So under the models, we have to go inside the folder called Jaffel shop, right? So inside the Jaffel shop, we have something called marks. Okay. So inside the marks, we have the folder over here, right? So like that, so we have to dig into the folders, and then so once we reach our folders, we have to give our materializations here. Is this clear? Any doubts here? So once we are inside our required folder, so here we have to add our materializations just like this. Plus materialized STV. So here, so whatever the final models I want them to be created as tables. So that means whatever I have placed all my final models in the core folder here. So whatever the models that are available in the core folder will be created as tables. Okay. Now, so whatever the models that are available in the staging folder should be created as views. Is clear? Any doubts?
No.
Okay. So this
One
will
question.
be, yes.
Like suppose I configured the materialized things at the .SQL level at the model level, and I haven't in a staging folder, and here I gave it as a materialized as a view. Then like which one will take on priority?
See, whatever the config blocks that is given in the SQL file, so that will be taken as priority.
Okay, in sequence. Okay, but
Yes. So whenever we give some config here, so we will kind of remove this from here. Okay. So this is how, so we can do our materializations. So outside of our models. Okay. Now let's go ahead and save this. So I'm just removing the config block from inside the dim customers model as well. Now I'm just trying to execute these commands. I'm trying to run these models by using the DBT run command. Let's go ahead and select our final model first. You see here, it is still created as a view. I think we have missed something here. Something has gone wrong here, guys. Let me just check that. Still waiting for it to review. Think the things the things we have given so are not getting saved in the background, I think. So that's why we are still seeing it as a view. Okay, let me check this again, guys. Okay, so I will kind of clarify this in the coming class. So for now, so what I want to continue with this. So I want to just give you a simple task on the creating some staging models and trying to create another fact model just like the dim customers. So I want you guys to create one fact model as well. Okay. So I will just I'll be clarifying this in the coming class. Okay. So anybody has any doubts here?
No.
Okay. So if you guys can set up all these DBT and Snowflake connections over the weekend and can do a simple task, so which I have created the fact kind of, I want the fact model kind of thing and one more stage model kind of thing. So and you can organize them in the same structure. Okay. So if you see in the Snowflake, so we have another table also in the our database. So which is in the stripe schema. So we have a table called payments, right? So from this payments tables, I want you guys to take out data from the payment model. Okay, so create a stage out of that table. Okay, let's see what is there. So these are the details available inside that payment model. Okay, so I want this ID to be picked as a payment ID. So if you see here, the ID column is there, right? So this should be as a payment ID. Okay, and the next one, let's keep it as order, the same order ID, and the payment method will also be same. And we need the status. So let me just give you the columns. Order ID. Okay. Status. Okay. And the amount. So these are the columns which you should consider. So while creating the staging model here. Okay, so since we have renamed this, we can directly use you may directly use the query, or you can use the CTs here inside the DBT. Okay, just like these two staging models, I want one more staging model for the payments for the payments table. Okay, is this clear? So this is I'm not going to do. So this is the thing for you guys to do. Okay. So assuming it is clear for you for the payments table. Okay. So okay, let me give you the complete query as well. Okay. So I will give you the queries for the staging models as well as for the fact tables which you want to create. So I want you guys to create one model. Okay. So one is for staging model with the query which I am going to give, and you have to organize that model in the staging folder. Okay. And one more model which I want you guys to create is a fact orders table. So right now we have a model called staging orders. So this will be different. This will be a fact orders table. So this model will give you complete information about the orders and the payment that has happened. Okay. So can you guys do the querying part, or do you guys want me to provide the queries as well? Anybody has any hard time writing the queries, or everybody is very comfortable with the SQL queries? Okay, so I assume everybody is comfortable with the SQL queries. Okay, so I'll just provide you the SQL queries. Okay, you can just see the query and what you can see like what it is doing. So after that, you can just create a model and you can place that model in the core folder. Okay, and once you have added that model to the core folder, so based on this materialization which you have given in the ML file, so our fact model and the dim model will be created as tables, and all the three staging models which you have created will be created as views. Okay, is this clear? So once we have prepared our two models, fact orders and stage orders table, so I want you to guys to edit our dim customers table to add one more column to be able to get one more column here. So I want you to get lifetime value of a customer. Okay. So this will, since I'm giving you the queries, this wouldn't be a much of task. So this will be whole of the creating models, like how are you going to execute them? How are you going to reference the third model which you have created? So inside the main model. Okay. Is this clear? Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So today, so I will send you the document. I will send you the queries. Okay. I will share the queries which you can create for the models. Okay. So once you create the models, we will discuss about that on Monday. Okay.
Sure.
So or else, I mean, do you guys want me to explain more about this task, or is this enough? Since I'm giving queries, I think it will be enough. So if you guys do like do it by yourself, you are free to do. You just don't have to refer my queries. But the final thing I want to get is, so I want to get the final lifetime value a customer has ordered. Okay. So here in this DIM customers model, so we don't have the customer lifetime value. Lifetime value is I want to know. So how much for how much, what is the amount he has ordered till now? A customer, in his lifetime. So what is the amount he has paid? He, for how much amount he has ordered. Okay. So that's the final value I want to know. Okay. So for that, so first you can you have to verify the payments table. So whether it is successful or not. So we have this amount as well. So how much amount he has paid, whether it is successful or not. Okay. So there are some failure cases as well. Okay, for a customer. So for that reason, so I want you to guys prepare a fact orders table first before getting the customer lifetime value. So in the fact orders table, so what you can get is the final data, what you're going to get is. So you will get the order ID. So you will get the customer ID. You will get the order date and the amount. Okay. So for every order, so what is the amount a customer has paid? Okay. So this is what we are going to get inside the staging payments model. Okay. So here, if you see in the staging orders table, see what we are going to get is we are going to get the same order ID, customer ID, order date, and status. Okay. So here we are not going to get the how much amount this customer has paid, right? But the amount details are available in the payments table. So that's why I'm asking you to refer the payments table. Okay. So from the payments table, so these are the final from the staging. From the staging. So these are the columns I'm expecting. Okay. From the fact orders table, so you can order in the fact orders model, you can just join these two things. You can just join staging orders as well as the staging payments. So by joining those two things, so you will be able to get these final columns. Okay. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. And finally, so what I want to do is by using the stage customers model and the fact orders model that you have created, by using those two, I want you to get the same customer ID, first name, last name, first order date, last order date, most recent one, and the number of total orders he has placed, and lifetime value. Okay. So these are all the final columns which I want in our DIM customers table. Okay. So right now in our DIM customers model, we don't have all those columns. So we have only till number of orders. So I want, by using the fact orders model, which we are going to create, I want to add that particular lifetime value as well here in this final model. Okay. Is this clear, guys? Okay, fine then. So you guys can start with this, start creating of this first model. So if you are stuck somewhere, so we will discuss more about this fact orders and the stage payments thing on Monday, and we will continue this. Okay, we will just kind of do a review like what everyone has done. Okay, so based on that, so we will continue. Okay, and so maybe I'll be sharing the queries with you guys tomorrow. So today you guys can try to do it on your own. So if you are facing some issues there, so tomorrow you will receive these queries, so and you can refer them. Okay. Okay. So next class we will talk about the sources. Okay, how to create sources and how to configure sources. So we will talk about them in the next class. So that is the next topic we are going to cover. Okay. Okay. Fine. Yes. Thank you. Have a good weekend.